Dear students of Level 1, the English Department at the Open Cairo University, hello and welcome. This is our first lecture in the Translation into Arabic course. The TV lectures will be in line with the said book translation manual. The book contains more than 30 passages in various topics and issues. The book covers a wide range of issues: political, cultural, economic, social, and human issues. Very interesting and useful in translation. The texts of English are called source language. They are needed to be translated into Arabic, that is the target language. The text in the source language. The translation will be in the target language, that's to say Arabic. The TV lectures will not cover all of the passages presented in the book, the 32 passages presented in the book, but will deal with part of the book. This does not mean that the rest of the book is not important, but the remaining passages will be equally important with the passages covered in the TV lectures. You are kindly requested to study the rest of the passages in line with the rules and illustrations presented in the TV lectures. Also, part of the syllabus, this course will focus on the translation into English, but mainly the course is in Arabic, translation into Arabic. The part related to the translation into English will be only in very short passages or sentences to train you on the sentence sense and vocabulary in English. We start off with an introduction to translation. In this introduction to translation, there will be main three aspects. I'll be working according to them. First thing is the vocabulary. Second is structure. Third is the style. Given here in this Arabic points. عند ترجمة أي نص هناك ثلاثة جوانب يجب على المترجم أن يضعها في الاعتبار، وهي المعنى في النص أو الخبر في الصحافة. That's what is the piece of news or the passage is about. Second is تراكيب الجمل. In English, the structures, the way words are put in order, word order. Third is the style or the phrasing of the passage in translation. The way the translator is phrasing or writing the style of the passage in translation. أما المعنى أو الخبر فلا بد للمترجم أن يكون أمينا في توصيله بلا تحريف كاملا غير منقوص. ويعني هذا أنه ليس هناك تأليفا في الترجمة أو بمعنى أني أجيب الخبر زي ما هو، مش معنى أن ألاقي موضوع سياسي أو موضوع اجتماعي أكتب فيه عن التلفزيون أو عن قضية سياسية زي موضوع فلسطين عرب إسرائيلي كونفليكت أكتب عنه خارج الموضوع، لكن بد أن ألتزم بالمعنى المترجم أمامي. The structures, the structure in translation, the translator cannot stick to the structures of the source language, but preferably the target language imposes its own structures on the translator. Well, of course, many details and illustrations are needed to explain this point. Structure زي ما قلت تعني التراكيب أو the way words are put in order. للمترجم الحق في أن لا يلتزم بها في اللغة التي يترجم منها source language، بل على العكس يجب أن تخضع الترجمة لتراكيب اللغة المترجم إليها target language. As for example, the Arabic sentence usually begins with a verbal sentence, mainly verbal sentence. But in translation into English, the English sentence begins with a nominal sentence, that is the subject. والأسلوب هو اللمسة المميزة للمترجم التي يترك بها انطباعا على القارئ، وهنا لا ينبغي أن يشعر القارئ بأن النص مترجم. One of the important criteria of judging a good translation is that on reading the text, the reader finds that it's not translated, cannot feel that it's translated into the target language. يلاحظ المترجم تنوع معاني الكلمات طبقا للسياقات المختلفة، وهنا يجب أن يبدي مرونة وتنوعا في الأسلوب. For example, the word heavy، والتي عادة ما ترتبط في ذهن المترجم بمعنى ثقيل، نجد أن لها معاني أخرى، مثل for example if it comes accompanied with fighting, an adjective qualifying and describing fighting. Here the word means قتال عنيف. With losses, heavy losses. خسائر فادحة. The word فادحة adjective in Arabic is used with خسائر دايما، والخسائر فادحة. Heavy taxes or heavy prices. taxes تعني ضرائب، دايما نقول ضرائب باهظة أو أسعار باهظة. heavy prices or heavy costs، تكاليف باهظة and so on. heavy skies، سماء ملبدة بالغيوم. a heavy book، كتاب أو عويص أو صعب الفهم. heavy rains or heavy snow، أمطار ثلوج غزيرة. heavy duty or machinery, tools or shoes means قوية أو متينة. heavy responsibilities، مسؤوليات جسيمة. can say of course مسؤولية ثقيلة، ولكن الأفضل مسؤوليات جسيمة. The collocations used with these nouns: heavy, responsibilities, مسؤوليات جسيمة. So we see how the word adjective heavy, the adjective heavy, is translated differently according to the context. This is the style. Another adjective, simple one, you all know, that is good. The word good can be translated in good man into رجل شريف، رجل طيب، رجل مش معقول نقول رجل جيد، وهكذا هيبقى ليها ترجمات كثيرة جدا غير جيد. هنا في another example is the word control. control yourself أقصر من كلمة تحكم وسيطرة. control yourself تمالك نفسك. birth control نستطيع أن نقول تحديد النسل المستخدمة دائما. traffic control تنظيم المرور. quality control مراقبة الجودة. نشوف قد ايه كلمة control مستخدمة بسياقات وبترجمات مختلفة. In translation, the three major aspects I'll be working accordingly are the vocabulary, the structure, sentence structure, and the style or phrasing. I'll start off with the vocabulary. In vocabulary, there are also three important points to be focused on in this lecture. vocabulary تعني المفردات، مفردات اللغة، الكلمات dealt with in the passage. In vocabulary, it's very important to realize that in vocabulary that nouns, that words are classified according to four major lexical items. These are the nouns, the adjective, the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, and adverbs. Again, the word classes or word groups are mainly in four categories. These are lexical items. الحاجات الأساسية اللي ليهم entries في القاموس. verbs الأفعال، nouns الأسماء، adjectives الصفات، and adverbs الأحوال أو الأحوال. The nouns and verbs constitute the bulk of English words. We see how word class or word group function in translation. The word, for example, the word destroy as a verb, destroy, it's used as a verb to damage something so badly that it does not exist or cannot be used. Most of the old part of the city was destroyed by bombs during the war. The accident seemed to have totally destroyed his confidence. It also means to kill an animal because it's ill, in pain, or dangerous. This is the verb destroy. A noun from destroy is destroyer according to the Cambridge Dictionary. Destroyer تعني المدمرة. A small fast military ship. A small fast military ship مدمرة. زي المدمرة إيلات. Small fast military ship. The noun, another noun from the verb destroy is destruction. الدمار. The noun is destruction. When something is destroyed, many people are very concerned about the destruction of the rainforests. Usually, high winds left a trail of destruction over southern Britain. Weapons of mass destruction, those which kill or hurt large numbers of people. أسلحة الدمار الشامل. Weapons of mass destruction. The adjective from destroy is destructive, مدمر. Adjective, the destructive power of nuclear weapons. القوة المدمرة للقوية. The destructive power of nuclear weapons. For example, I worry about the destructive effect that violent films may have on children. يساورني القلق بشأن التأثير المدمر الذي تتركه الأفلام أو تخلفه أفلام العنف على الأطفال. يساورني القلق بشأن الآثار المدمرة الذي تحدثه أفلام العنف الذي قد تحدثه أفلام العنف على الأطفال. Lack of trust is very destructive in a relationship. انعدام الثقة له أثر مدمر جدا في أي علاقة. The adjective describes, modifies, and qualifies nouns, whereas adverbs describe and qualify verbs. In this, destructively is the adverb from destroy, destructively. We see in this example the four word classes, the four main word classes. These are the verb destroy, the noun destruction, the adjective destructive, and the adverb destructively. You got to know and realize well the distinction between these four main parts of speech. If you take one for the other, it will of course lead to a fatal mistake in translation. Just as we say in Arabic, مدمر غير يدمر غير مدمرة غير تدمير. كذلك produce, production, productive, product, productivity, product, and so on. This is called the word class or word group, whatever the name. احنا هنا الترم مش المهم، أنا يهمني استخدام الحاجات ديت word class في الترجمة، لأن الاقي ناس كتير قوي استخدموا مثلا production بدل ما يقصد يقول produce أو products. عندنا منتجات dairy products for example، منتجات الألبان. Produce is the verb, production is the noun, productivity another noun تعني إنتاجية, and so on. The opposite of destroy is construct. The opposite of destroy is construct. Construct is the verb to معنى يبني an idea or imaginary situation. Construction is the noun, the work of building or making something, especially buildings or bridges. She works in construction or in the construction industry or company. The bridge is a marvelous work of engineering and construction. The website is currently under construction. تحت الإنشاء. Construction تعني تعمير أو الإنشاء. The particular type of structure, materials, extra that something has. The bridge is of a lightweight construction. Another noun from construction is constructor. The firm produces kits for amateur car constructors. The adjective is constructive, بناء. If advice, نصيحة, criticism, نقد, or actions, أعمال أو أفعال, are constructive, they are useful and intended to help or improve something. إذا جاءت النصيحة أو النقد أو أي أفعال في إطار بناء أو كانت بناءة، فإنها عندئذ تكون مفيدة وتهدف إلى المساعدة وتطوير شيء ما. She criticized my writing, but in a way that was very constructive. I learned a lot from her. She criticized my writing. كلمة criticize صعبة شوية، بمعنى نقدت. نقد هنا نقد مش انتقاد، نقد يعني في two sides, good sides and the bad sides. She criticized my writing, but in a way that was very constructive. I learned a lot from her. See how the word constructive, the adjective from construct is used. Constructive criticism, نقد بناء, the opposite of destructive. If you don't have anything constructive to say, I'd rather you kept quiet. If you don't have anything constructive to say, I'd rather you kept quiet. إذا لم يكن لديك شيئا بيننا لتقوله، فمن الأحرى لك أو من الأفضل لك أن تلتزم الصمت. The adverb is constructively. Constructively, the opposite of destructively. Constructively, طريقة بناءة. Destructively is بطريقة هدامة. See, constructively is the opposite of destructively, not the opposite of construction. In this, I want you to pay special attention to this word class when you look up a word in dictionary, particularly these major lexical items. When you look up a word, for example, like real, carry on with the word to see the other derivatives: realistic, reality, realize, and so on. This will help you a lot in translation, and this is very important in translation, of course, again into English. As for the second point in vocabulary, is to realize the root of words. In English, there are certain structures for words which require suffixes, some affixes to be attached to the word, to the root of the word, to give other derivatives. These are the prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes are the group of letters added at the beginning of words. Suffixes are the group of letters added at the end of words, to give, of course, different meanings. I'll clarify my point in writing down some examples in vocabulary. For example, the verb expect. The verb expect means يتوقع. The suffix expected, the past of expect, expected, this is the ed, is the suffix. توقع or متوقع can be also used as an adjective, متوقع. The prefix unexpected, unexpected, غير متوقع, the unexpected consequences, the unexpected consequences of the war. Here the expect is the root of the word. Attached to the root of the word, two parts, the prefix and the suffix ed. Here, look out for the root of the word to know the meaning of the word, and study the meanings of prefixes and suffixes, and this will be part of the course of level 1. The difference and main and important prefixes and suffixes that are attached to the root to give words and different meanings for the words. Unexpected, غير متوقع. So expect is the root, un is the prefix, ed is the suffix. The unexpected result or consequence, مع تعني هنا adjective for consequence or result. Another example in the word, for example, international. International. In this word, look out for the root or base of the word, that is nation, تعني أمة أو دولة. The prefix inter means between or among or within. al, the suffix al, gives an adjective for international, معنى دولي أو عالمي. The international means world. International, here the base is nation, inter is the prefix, al is the suffix. So if you know the root of words, it will make it all easy for you to realize the other parts and the meanings when the prefixes and suffixes are stuck to this root to give other derivatives, and so on and so forth. back to our point, in vocabulary as well, we got to see and realize words in context. Words in context. Words have different meanings according to the context they are used. So try to be flexible in grasping the connotation of words when they are used in context. Very simple words, for example, word close. Close, like close the door. The word close can be used differently. He's my close friend. Close friend, an adjective. Close is a verb, but it's sometimes used as an adjective, meaning close friend, for example, or close ties, or close relation. President Mubarak calls for closer ties with the Arab states. يطالب الرئيس مبارك أو يدعو الرئيس مبارك بعلاقات وطيدة أو بتوطيد العلاقات مع الدول العربية. Here the word close does not mean, has nothing to do with يغلق. هنقول إغلاق العلاقات مش ممكن. So close has different meaning, means close, get closer, meaning near. Word, for example, the word develop, and particularly this word, please look up the word develop, D-E-V-E-L-O-P. Look it up in an English dictionary. And an English dictionary is needed for this course in order to give you example sentences to see how the words are used in context. For example, if you look up the word develop in a good dictionary, for example, Cambridge or Oxford dictionary, or Longman even, a good English dictionary, find many usages for the word develop. Develop means ينمي ويطور, but it has also different meanings. It also means to develop a disease, to develop a bad habit. He started to develop a bad habit recently, that is smoking. بدأ هنا يكتسب عادة سيئة وهي التدخين. He developed a bad habit. To develop a film معناه يحمض الفيلم. Development as well. Development التطور, latest developments, التطورات الأخيرة. Development يعني تنمية. There are many words in that change their meanings according to, of course, the context. We have a lot of many examples of these words. For example, the word official. I'll write down this word official. Particularly this word official. Official has two important meanings used in common language as رسمي. For example, the president paid an official visit to Libya. Official visit or official engagement. Official visit تعني زيارة رسمية. But a top government official has said, a top government official said, صرح مسؤول كبير في الحكومة. Official هنا noun and it can be used in plural. Officials, مسؤولون حكومي. Official. So in the first example, official visit or official tour, official letter, خطاب رسمي معنى رسمي. But in the second example, a top government official said, صرح مسؤول كبير في الحكومة. Senior government official. The word top means senior. Senior, مسؤول كبير في الحكومة. هنا government officials معنى civil service. Civil servants اللي هم الموظفين الحكومة. Officials. So official in the first example means an adjective. describing visit or qualifying visit. In the second example, it's a noun. Of course, a noun can be given in a plural form, means officials. Another example is the word sound. Sounds. This word has three important meanings. As you know, sounds and letters. أصوات اللغة. Sound system, for example. The second meaning is when it comes, for example, in words scientifically sound. The theory is scientifically sound. The word sound here has nothing to do with sound, with صوت, بمعنى صوت, زي sound system, sound units, and so on. The theory is scientifically sound تعني سليمة، إن النظرية سليمة من الناحية العلمية. Proper. A synonym for sound is proper. سليمة. Sound, scientifically sound. Sound sleep. Sound education. تعليم سليم أو مناسب. The third meaning for word sound is when you say, for example, what about an outing? That sounds like fun. That sounds, in conversational or situational English, that sounds like fun. وهذه فكرة رائعة. That sounds like fun. So, the first example in sound, تعني الصوت. The second is the theory is scientifically sound. النظرية سليمة من الناحية العلمية. تعني proper. The third example is that sounds like fun. معنى appears يبدو أو يظهر. Sounds appears looks good. In the political context, the word settlement, if it's used as a noun, for example, settlements, Israel carries on with its policy of building settlements on the occupied Arab territories. Building settlements, Israeli settlements on the occupied Arab territories تعني هنا المستوطنات الإسرائيلية على الأراضي العربية المحتلة. But the two parties have reached a peaceful settlement, or a peaceful settlement is a must for the to achieve the state of prosperity and stability in the Middle East area. تسوية سلمية. So in the first example, settlement مستوطنة أو مستوطنات in plural مستوطنات. In the second example تعني تسوية سلمية. Of course, there is big difference between the two words. For example, if we say, for Israel has destroyed the settlements before its pull out from Gaza Strip, it destroyed the settlements before pulling out, قبل انسحابها, withdrawing from Gaza Strip. هنا دمرت المستوطنات. If we take one for the other, of course, it would be dead wrong. It would be dead wrong if you take settlement for settlements. The meaning of مستوطنة and settlement معنى تسوية سلمية. Another example is the word charge. Charge has three important and equally important meanings used in the English language in spoken and written language. For example, the word charge means, if it's given in plural as well, as takalif, charges, expenses or costs. The needy or the poor cannot afford the charges of treatment for the charges of treatment at government hospitals. لا يستطيع الفقراء تحمل تكاليف العلاج في المستشفيات الحكومية. The charges here means costs or expenses. You are advised not to charge people through the nose. An expression in English, to charge people through the nose, لا تعني أن لا تحمل الناس فوق طاقتهم في التكاليف. Another meaning for the word charge is مسؤولية, to be in charge of. In charge of. The United States of America is in charge of the internet. معنى responsible for. In charge of. Responsible for. مسؤولة عن. The third meaning for the word charge, used particularly in the legal context, السياق القانوني, word charge and as a noun, and can be charges, of course, meaning accusations. اتهامات. Charges. He is faced with the charges of conspiracy and fraud. Charge معنى اتهام. He is charged with many crimes. يتهم بعدة جرائم. So charged with يتهم به. It has nothing to do with, of course, here the word charge has nothing to do with the two previous meanings of takalif or مسؤولية. Three different and completely different meanings for the word charge. This, of course, is a reminder for you to realize the different meanings for words used in different contexts. So don't take just one and fast and hard rule for the meaning of a word. Charge means مسؤولية, or charge means takalif, and forget about or overlook the other meanings used for the word. Of course, it will lead up to different translation, and consequently a fatal mistake in translation. And so on. There are the word trial, for example, does in legal context means محاكمة, does not mean محاولة. word sentence, كلمة sentence اللي احنا بنستخدمها طول الوقت في اللانجوج في تعني جملة. Simple sentence or complex sentence, an English sentence or Arabic sentence. In legal context it has nothing to do, ليس لها علاقة بكلمة جملة. In the legal context is used as حكم أو فترة عقوبة. He is sentenced to 5 years in prison. هو حكم أصدر الحكم عليه أو بقضاء عقوبة السجن لمدة 5 سنوات. Sentence 5 years in prison. Death sentence عقوبة الإعدام. Death sentence. This means that words are different when sometimes used in different contexts. They have different connotations and completely different meanings. The third point in vocabulary is the spelling. In translation into English and part of the course, I remind you of that this semester you will have part of the translation into Arabic, part of it will go for translation into English, to train you on the basics of the translation into English, to be prepared for the forthcoming courses in translation into English, to be able to write simple and compound sentences in English, to have this sentence sense as well in English. The last point is the spelling. The spelling is a sticking point in English. In spelling, it requires, of course, certain effort to be able to write down the words in sound spelling. In sound spelling here means proper spelling, properly, to write them down properly. The spelling is salim. As you know, the letters and sounds are not corresponding all the time in English. That is, there is no one-to-one correspondence between letters and sounds in English. For example, the word daughter is pronounced daughter with GH, but it's not spelled in written down in spelling. So, or as well, there are many words that, for example, the word bomb is or column end in B letter, but this B letter is not pronounced. Bomb, we say bomb, and say knife, but in spelling you got to write the letter K. The letter key it must be written down. Otherwise, of course, it would be a spelling mistake, and maybe the reader cannot read the word, and accordingly cannot realize its meaning or translation. So in spelling, you are requested to divide and break down the words into syllables, whatever syllables you like. The syllables required for translation. For example, the word, for example, responsibility, to be divided into responsibility. International to be divided into, for example, internation and AL and so on. The spelling as well requires you to write down the word more than one time in there, more than up to 5 or 10 times in order to memorize the spelling of these words. The second basic element in the translation course is structure. Structure means in Arabic التراكيب. The sentence structure, the phrase structure, how the words are put in order. This word order is very important in Arabic as well as in English. As for the translation into Arabic, this structure means, for example, the kind of sentence. The English sentences, we examine these sentences. Number 1, civil war has broken out in the north of the country. 2, thousands of refugees have crossed the border looking for food and shelter. 3, the explosion resulted in 300 casualties. Civil war, الحرب الأهلية, has broken out in Dalat in the north of the country في شمال البلاد. North, شمال, the opposite of which is south. Please try to know these 4 directions: north, south, the الغرب, west, east. So north, south, east, and west. Civil war has broken out in the north of the country. If we try to analyze these words, this sentence into its basic constituents, we find that civil war is the subject, has broken out is the verb. In the north of the country, this is adverb of place. Here, the civil war is the starting part of the sentence. But in translation into Arabic, we begin the sentence with اندلعت الحرب الأهلية. Instead of civil war, الحرب الأهلية اندلعت into English, in English, but in translation into Arabic, it's preferable to begin the sentence with a verb. اندلعت الحرب الأهلية في شمال البلاد. ونلاحظ هنا has broken out is present perfect tense. هنتكلم على tense بعد كده in later lectures. اندلعت الحرب الأهلية في شمال البلاد. معنى هنا اندلعت ولم تنتهي بعد. The present perfect, the tense is important as well in translation. Second example, thousands of refugees have crossed the border looking for food and shelter. Thousands of refugees تعني اللاجئين. Have crossed the border, have crossed عبروا the border الحدود looking for food and shelter بحثا عن طعام ومأوى. هنا the verb in this sentence have crossed عبر آلاف اللاجئون الحدود بحثا عن مأكل ومأوى أو طعام ومأوى لهم. نشوف الترجمة. اندلعت الحرب الأهلية في شمال البلاد. قام آلاف اللاجئين بعبور الحدود بحثا عن طعام ومأوى. Third sentence, the explosion resulted in 300 casualties. Casualties تعني بها الخسائر البشرية whether in injured or killed. سواء قتل أو إصابة. Casualties. The explosion resulted in 300 casualties بمعنى إن هنا أسفر الانفجار عن مصرع 300 شخص. طبعا هنا لو الكتابة في العدد number in letters in numbers كده in figures يبقى in figures in Arabic. لو هو in letters نعمله in letters. نلاحظ هنا في الأمثلة أن الجملة الإنجليزية تبدأ بالأسماء أو الفعل subject ولكن عند الترجمة إلى العربية تكون الجملة عادة فعلية. This does not mean of course that the nominal sentence in Arabic is not important. nominal sentence الجملة الاسمية is very important بس عند ترجمة الأخبار وهكذا ونبحث دايما الترجمة البداية بالجملة الفعلية. We examine these sentences. Today President Mubarak delivers an important political address speech at the onset of the new parliamentary session for both the People's Assembly and the Shura Assembly or Shura Council. Analyzing this sentence, today, adverb of time, President Mubarak is the subject, delivers, verb, an important political address is the object, خطاب سياسي هام, at the onset of, في بداية, adverb, the new parliamentary session, the People's Assembly and the Shura Council. Here, President Mubarak, today President Mubarak delivers. The verb is delivers and it has future tense as well. سيلقي أو يلقي الرئيس مبارك خطابا اليوم، خطابا سياسيا هاما اليوم في بداية الدورة البرلمانية الجديدة لكل من مجلس الشعب والشورى. Again, we have the translation. يلقي الرئيس مبارك خطابا سياسيا هاما اليوم في بدء الدورة البرلمانية الجديدة لمجلسي الشعب والشورى. هنا نلاحظ الستراكشر بداية بالnoun أو subject وبعدين followed by the verb and followed by the object, an important political address. The object is an important political address. Then followed by the adjuncts of the sentence at the onset of the new parliamentary session. This is an adverb of time. adjunct ثاني الأجزاء المكملة في الجملة اللي هي نقدر نقول عليها لو they are left out they won't affect the meaning of the structure of the sentence. Here I'm stressing the point of starting the sentence with in Arabic, in translation into Arabic, with the verb يلقي الرئيس حسني مبارك اليوم خطابا سياسيا هاما في بدء هنا الجلسة أو في بداية الدورة البرلمانية الجديدة. كلمة session هنا مش معنى جلسة، معنى دورة برلمانية جديدة. طبعا session تعني في النظام البوليتيكال الليجال terminology معنى جلسة. طبعا سياسي أيضا. هنا في the new another example, the new cabinet is formed of or includes 10 new ministers and takes up the constitutional oath before President Mubarak today. The new cabinet. دايما نبقى مدركين مكونات الجملة عشان نقدر نترجمها. Otherwise, if you just try to translate, once you see the sentence and the word by word, it would be wrong. It will lead you to, of course, language and mistakes and translation mistakes. The new cabinet, this is the subject, الحكومة الجديدة, is formed of or includes تضم ministers وزراء. takes up or swears تؤدي اليمين the constitutional oath اللي هو اليمين الدستورية. secretary معنى وزير. US Secretary of State وزير الخارجية الأمريكية. طبعا foreign secretary اللي هو وزير الخارجية في العالم كله. لكن في الخارجية الأمريكية نعرف الفرق. US Secretary of State وهنا ده يعتبر political terminology. We can't change حاجة fixed وكلنا we must abide by this terminology. We have to use them as they are. They are not changeable. US Secretary of State وزير الخارجية الأمريكية. لكن وزارة الخارجية الأمريكية State Departments. وزير الخارجية في مصر أو في Foreign Secretary or Foreign Minister في العالم كله. Interior Minister وزير الداخلية. في وزير الداخلية في إنجلترا بيسموه Home Secretary. Member of Parliament عضو البرلمان. Prime Minister رئيس الوزراء. Cabinet Reshuffle تعديل وزاري. Cabinet Information. Speaker of Spokesman and Spokeswoman or Spokesperson. In translation تضم الحكومة الجديدة 10 وزراء جدد وتؤدي اليمين الدستورية أمام مبارك اليوم. An important point in the structure other than the subject-verb order is the order of the adjective and noun. ترتيب الصفة والموصوف. As you see, it's very important in English. يختلف في الإنجليزية عن العربية. فنقول في العربية خطاب سياسي هام، دورة برلمانية جديدة، اليمين الدستورية، أي أن الموصوف يأتي قبل الصفة. أما في الإنجليزية we say an important political speech, a new parliamentary session, the constitutional oath, the constitutional amendments تعديلات الدستورية. With this point in structure, I conclude the introduction to our course. Next lecture, I'll be working on the translation of the English context into Arabic, starting with the passage Science and Technology. Besides the passages from the book, also I'll present some of the external passages to follow up on the events and the current news, local and worldwide. Thank you very much. Goodbye.